And we're live on YouTube and Facebook. And Keto Coach Greg will be joining us shortly. I messed up though. I forgot to post and promote this, which is why nobody's on here right now. Hey, we got somebody jumping on. Come on in. Come on in. Welcome to the party. How you doing, baby? Yeah, you okay for real? Rizzles? Mm-hmm. I apologize for not posting about this and promoting it. I feel like I did Greg wrong, but hopefully he'll be jumping on here soon. Here we go. View requests. Go live. Hopefully we'll be able to hear it on YouTube and Facebook like we did last time. All right. I just approve your. There we go.
There you go.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I gotta adjust my thing a little bit here. I forgot to promote it, man, so nobody knows about this.
That's all right.
Except when we do live at 5 every Wednesday.
Yeah. Is that gonna work? All right. You can hear us. You can see us. Awesome. All right. So we're live on YouTube and Facebook. We're live on Instagram. The mustache is coming in thick, bro.
I know. I'm kind of letting it get pretty bushy because I need to figure out how to best groom it.
Well, your guess is as good as mine.
I'm gonna twist it.
You're gonna do the that was really popular in like Europe way back in the day, right? Spain, everywhere.
Yeah, and some of those old school bodybuilders and competitors had a pretty sweet stash going, so that's what we're going for.
Hey man, I like it. Anybody can do it. You can do it. All right, so we got a few people jumping on YouTube and Facebook. Let me make sure that my settings are such that the audio is coming through the camera. Okay, yeah. Everything seems to be working there. So hopefully y'all can hear the Instagram. You just can't see Greg, but he looks great. He's got a big mustache, big muscles.
If you guys can hear Greg, please let us know on YouTube and Facebook.
For anybody that does not know who Greg is, you want to give us a little intro, Greg?
Sure. Yeah. I started working with Robert himself, Keto Savage, last year, and have been living a ketogenic lifestyle for 7+ years, probably going on 8 now, and kind of in the mix of being involved with the keto space and just kind of following random people here and there. I came across the path of Robert, and he essentially guided me during a keto contest prep, and I did some physique and classic physique competitions last fall. Back up a little bit before that, 7 to 8 years ago, I had actually done some competitions with the standard traditional bro science diet and contest prep approach. So I kind of had that in my background and wasn't always ketogenic. Fast forward again to today, and he helped me get some pro cards and win some competitions last fall. And since then, I have also become a ketogenic coach through the Deeper State protocol. And so here we are today.
And you look freaking shredded, man. Like when you competed, I was looking at your pictures. I was going through my computer the other day and organizing all my photos and the right folders and whatnot. I came across the folder for all of your competition pictures. I just started scrolling through them all. And I mean, you got freaking diced, man. Like you were shredded.
I had never, ever been that leaned out, vascular, and just, I could have died from a paper cut. I was so leaned out. It was pretty awesome. Yeah, it worked well.
And no carb ups, none of that, none of those diuretics, none of that rainbow or reindeer game. No, it was all just good, clean, nutritional manipulations. You know?
It was, and it's so fun being backstage because just being backstage in a competition in general is pretty awesome. There's a lot of good energy, and you got a lot in common with a lot of competitors. But I remember being backstage 7, 8 years ago with Bro Science, and everyone's pounding rice cakes and jelly and Skittles and candy and everything, just to try to get vascular. And I was backstage this past fall, and everyone was doing that, and we were talking about diets and how they had just a shitty meal the night before, and I told them I had a 1,200 calorie sodium loaded pizza that was just to die for, and they just couldn't believe it. They didn't understand how there was, that difference in nutritional approach, and it still yielded the results. So it's pretty cool.
Well, what's crazy is that's still like the norm. Like we went to Jamie's show 2 weekends ago now, and everybody backstage was still sucking down rice cakes drenched in peanut butter and jelly and honey and stuff like that. It's like I don't know if that philosophy and that approach towards nutrition is ever going to die, because it's just so ingrained into the bro culture that it's probably just there to stay. So we'll just keep beating them.
Yeah, and the other thing that's really different is the water aspect. I know a lot of competitors were backstage and they were so thirsty. I felt their pain so hard, and they weren't allowed to do more than just wet their lips because they didn't want to look bloated or puffed out. And there I was, just drinking as much as I needed to, and I didn't even feel the need to drink. I was already hydrated. I never cut water at all. Didn't have to do a deplete. Drink 3 gallons, 2 gallons, 1 gallon, 0 gallon. We didn't do any of that, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, when you can stay hydrated all throughout competition day, you can stay healthy. I mean, I've competed before where people were so dehydrated that they were cramping so severely that they couldn't even do their mandatory poses and literally had to walk off stage to allow their body to recover before they could walk back on stage for the awards. Like when you put in all that work and you can't even stretch your stuff, so to speak, because you're in so much pain and your muscles aren't cooperating with you, that's not healthy. That's an issue right there.
It was definitely like the wildest thing I've ever seen. Like this guy's chest literally like caved in. It was cramping so bad. You could see it from the audience. And he just had to walk off stage because like he was just cramping so bad. It was wild.
Not good.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of give some questions popping in here. We got some people jumping on YouTube and Facebook now. Let me run through some of these. Tina says, hey. Cynthia says, greetings. Crystal, you look great. Hello from Illinois. We can hear him. Okay, so we got confirmation that people on YouTube and Facebook can hear you, Greg. So that is good. James says he can hear you. So feel free to hit us up with some questions, y'all. We need some questions. Are we getting any questions on Instagram? Nothing?
Any type of Q&A, you guys, questions you guys have for us, for Greg, for whatever. Any and all things accepted.
What are some questions that you're seeing a lot of just in the keto space, like in general, Greg? What is the topic you see a lot of confusion around?
I've seen, it's been more recently, I've seen people looking for the perfect caloric intake and macro split. Mm-hmm. So they want to replicate maybe what somebody else is doing because they're seeing how they're achieving their resuls.
I saw your post on that the other day.
Yeah, that's what kind of fired that up. Is I've had a few people reach out to me now, and they're like, "How many calories are you eating? How much fat are you eating? Do you think if I did this, it would work? Or maybe I'm eating too much or too little?" And it really all boils down to your individual needs and your individual dietary history, how your metabolism is doing, any health ailments you might have. There's a lot of components that come into play when you want to get someone tweaked into what works for them the best.
When we did Jamie's show, she's got a pretty sizable Instagram following. So she started posting about her show, and then everybody started asking her about what she was doing. And then a lot of people found out about me that didn't know about me previously. And I was getting inundated with DMs on Instagram and emails of, what did you do for Jamie? I want to replicate that. Can you give me the same macros that you gave her? Can you give me the same everything you gave her? I want to look just like her. It's like, I appreciate people's desire to look and, mimic what she's done. But for me to give somebody the same macros that I gave Jamie would be totally, ineffective completely. I mean, you can't go about things that way.
That would be a bad coach.
Yeah. It would.
There's no cookie cutter approach. Yep.
Somebody said you're also an incredible home inspector.
Oh, awesome. I don't know who that was.
Malcolm Wallaker.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Nice.
He's a real estate agent in our area here, you bet.
There you go. Funny. Joe says, I have my new brick in and it's a tie for my favorite. Will it be back yearly? That's a good sign. He likes the new nootropic brick. That's your favorite brick now, right? Isn't it, Greg?
Yes, I gotta say that one laps butter maple pecan by just a little bit.
Really?
Butter maple pecan is still up there. Chocolate peanut butter cup number 3. Macadamia madness probably in the top 3 or 4 still. But nootropic, yeah, definitely.
That's good. It's good news. I'd like to hear that for sure. Do you feel you can use a pre-workout with sucralose? Oh, I missed one. Hold on. Started Carnivore 8 days ago. How long until I don't feel nauseous and shitty anymore? Any insight into that, Greg?
Yeah, so you're going through a pretty hardcore overhaul, and your whole digestive tract and system, you're just throwing something brand new at it. You're going to probably get some discrepancies internally, I guess you could say. I think you could dial it back if you had to a little bit, but eventually you're going to probably see the light at the end of the tunnel. I know I've had people mention that they get nauseous, they get diarrhea, they get constipation. You're just really changing everything up from the inside out. So you got to give your body a little bit of time to get acclimated. I would say stay hydrated and up the electrolytes. That could help with some of those symptoms.
I feel like it takes 2 weeks for your digestive tract to more or less, recalibrate when you totally shift your diet like you are if you go from standard American diet to keto or from keto to carnivore or something like that. Like 2 weeks to kind of give your digestive tract a little bit of time to equalize, basically.
Yeah, especially if it's such a drastic change. You bet.
Yeah.
Do you feel you can use pre-workouts with sucralose while trying to lose weight?
What's your thoughts on that one, Greg?
It's kind of a muddy water topic in my opinion. I know some people are really, really against artificial sweeteners. Some people don't care. I've seen research in science that say they impact insulin and blood glucose. I've seen opposing research. I personally don't mind a little bit of sucralose here and there. It beats the alternative as far as, not having a whole bunch of sugar. I wouldn't say you want to consume a lot of it on a regular basis in every single thing you eat or drink. But every now and then, in my opinion, I think it's okay.
Yeah,
How about you?
I agree. I feel like the studies that show that it screws up your gut microbiome are generally done with incredibly high doses, much more so than you would come in contact with a scoop of pre-workout. And there is likely a slight cephalic phase of insulin response because of the sweetness. But again, I don't think that's going to be enough to prevent you from losing weight by any means. So yeah, I'm in complete agreement with you. I think it certainly beats the alternative of something that's heavily laden in sugar for sure.
Sure, and if you get a little bit of an insulin response right before you hit the gym, that's probably not a big deal because you're going to just burn right through that anyways.
Yeah, definitely. What's that one say, Crystal?
Hey, from New Jersey, waiting for my brick to come. You all look good. I have been following you guys since when you were starting DSK.
Oh wow, that's one of the OG followers. Thanks for all the support. Kay, let me read this one here on YouTube. Are there any more brick flavors in the works that are dairy-free? In the last year, I've discovered that I can't do whey protein. We do have some more coming that are dairy-free. However, since most of our brick flavors are plant-based currently, we're trying to add more whey-based bricks to kind of even that out a little bit. But we do have some more plant-based bricks that are dairy-free coming for sure.
Noted we are all bio-individual, but how should one identify their macros and calorie intake? Just eat as how we feel that day?
It's a tricky question too, Greg. You want to tackle that one?
There's a lot of factors that could play into that. What are your goals?
Yeah.
If you want to gain weight, lose weight, maintain weight, if you want to get stronger, if you want to improve your metabolism, there's a lot to that question. There's not a cookie cutter answer, but there's also the macro calculator on the Keto Savage website. You can hop on that, and then you could also dive into the DSK information, and there's a self-guided course. There's coaches on there. Someone can help you figure out your macros if you need some guidance.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I feel like a lot more questions need to be answered, kind of dive deeper into that specific question, because whether I'm trying to build muscle or lose body fat, my macros are going to look totally different. I do think that we should all strive to reach a point where we can intuitively eat and maintain a healthy composition effortlessly. I feel like that should be an end goal from a sustainability standpoint, but that may not, that probably shouldn't be where you spend all of your time, but being able to cycle that state in at certain times is very important.
Someone said, thank you for the advice. Have any of you experimented with small amounts of carbs in the form of fruit or raw honey? Saw Carnivore MD talk about this. Robert and I have talked about this a lot, so I'll let Greg take off.
Yeah, Greg, take that one, will you?
Back in the day when I first kind of started experimenting with keto, I did play around with a little bit of targeted keto. So that is simply put, your small amount of carbohydrate intake is kind of situated either before and or after your workout. So I did actually play around a little bit with honey. And so I would eat a spoonful of honey pre-workout. I would eat a spoonful of honey post-workout. It wasn't really a crazy, abnormally noticeable difference in anything, in my opinion. That's the extent of my dabbling in that. I don't do anything with honey or fruit, maybe the occasional handful of berries nowadays, but that's really about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't feel like I noticed any. I mean, I haven't had honey or fruit in like years, but I've definitely done that in the past pre-keto, and I've talked to a lot of people that do it. And the general consensus seems to pretty much be they can't really notice any performance benefit that comes from it. Now, there have been several people that have started dabbling in more fruit and more honey, and then they start to dabble in more rice and sweet potato. Then they start to dabble in more ice cream and cereal. And then before you know it, they're royally screwed back where they started. So if it doesn't really offer any tangible performance benefit, and it kind of acts as a slippery slope to cause you to return to the bad habits that you started from, probably not a worthwhile addition, unless you can moderate it all very well.
And also, like, I don't know what Carnivore MD, like, I don't know what he does for his workouts. I haven't watched his workouts. He eats honey before he surfs.
Yeah, he does a little bit of like working out and stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, I would look at your overall goal too, and like all three of us lift weights. None of us choose that we want to lift, that we want to eat or whatever, honey, fruit, whatnot. What is your reasoning? Is that something that you want to introduce into your body for a short period of time? Some people do it. I really don't know if they can tell the difference. Maybe they really can. I have no idea. I have not personally talked to someone who has eaten fruit or honey specifically before or after a workout that's ever really had benefits of it.
Yeah. I mean, once you become deeply fat adapted,
like 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, and once you become deeply fat adapted, your body's ability to preserve your stored muscle glycogen and replenish your muscle glycogen are all enhanced. So you're probably not even going to be deficient in muscle glycogen, which defeats the purpose of needing the honey in the first place. What you got there? Stacy says, mine never adjusted well, had to use lipase. Game changer. What were we talking about that would have meant anything with lipase? What was our question? What was our comment on that one earlier, Stacy? I'm lost. Keto Chris, Ellen's on here. What keto ice cream is not good?
Most of them.
Yeah, most of them.
The one that you make at home is great. Can I? Yeah, thanks.
Real quick before we read this question, actually go ahead.
Oh, I feel bad for giving them that answer, but there isn't really a clean keto ice cream. I prefer to make protein shakes at home. Like, I'll make a protein shake for Robert, and I will put like a little bit of like peanut butter or almond butter or something like that on top, and it's delicious. But just making it a little bit thicker, and it's really good.
Yeah, it is good.
Yep.
Gaining weight after 2 years into carnivore diet, just meat and eggs, but I want to lose weight. I lost my cycle, mean hormones imbalanced. What went wrong? Gaining weight after 2 years carnivore diet, just meat and eggs, but want to lose weight. Lost my cycle. How many calories are you eating currently?
That is probably the biggest struggle with carnivore, is getting in enough food in general. I've seen this, not a lot. I've seen this several times where a woman does carnivore and loses her cycle, or her hormones become imbalanced. And it's not specifically the type of food you're eating. It's the fact that you're not eating enough food or even enough fat. A lot of people will go for carnivore and go super high protein, And you can have plenty of protein, but your hormones are regulated by fat. So making sure that you're having plenty of fat will also help you to make sure you're eating plenty of calories.
Yes. Anything to add to that, Greg, or is that pretty much your consensus too?
Yep, I totally agree. If you're chronically undereating, that's where the problem starts.
I've seen so many people reach out to me that have been eating less than 1,000 calories on average because of this popularity of the protein-sparing modified fast diet. Like it honestly makes me mad. Like I get mad. You know.
I had someone message me the other day that was eating 900 calories like 3 days a week, and then on their like higher calorie days, I don't remember what it was. I feel like it was like 1,400, and I'm like,
yeah, high calorie days 1,400.
What? I'm so confused.
I don't know about you, Greg, but my high calorie days are like 4,400.
Yep.
I have only noticed.
And honestly, it's not against that person. That comment was not against that person.
Yeah.
It's just such a hype right now that so many people are doing it that I feel bad for these people.
I have only noticed the difference with a intra-workout dextrose. Intra-workout dextrose. See, I don't notice any difference with that either. Now, I do notice the difference with intra-workout electrolytes.
Dextrose is also something I try to avoid.
Yeah. I also see that Stan Efferding shows its benefits from pure cranberry juice before a workout while on zero carb. He doesn't really do zero carb long term. He does the vertical diet, so he does a lot of rice. And if you're doing things like rice, like Stan Efferding's vertical diet, then you're not going to be as deeply fat adapted. So you would likely benefit from dextrose intra-workout or pre or post-workout carbohydrate, but he's not doing zero carb long term. He's just doing it very intermittently. Mostly he's got rice and stuff in his diet.
Any advice on getting my strength up any faster? I'm working out now, but not feeling like I'm improving performance before I just feel like I have nothing else in the tank.
All right, this is one of my old clients. Any advice on getting up strength up any faster? I'm working it now, but feeling like I'm improving performance before I just feel like I had nothing else. So I actually had a podcast today, and you might appreciate this too, Greg. It was with Ebenezer is his name. It's a pretty cool name. I don't know anybody else named Ebenezer. But he is one of the writing directors for the Men's Health magazine. And he was talking about just different training philosophies. So he's been incorporating a lot more explosive movements into his training. And if you're doing a lot more of explosive movements, like with bodybuilding and powerlifting too, generally you're not going crazy explosive. I mean, powerlifting is sometimes, but with bodybuilding for sure, it's like slow, control, time under tension, mind-muscle connection, full range of motion, all the stuff. There's all great stuff to do, but I think there's a lot of benefit to be had if you incorporate like cycling explosive movements, like with every exercise session, throw in some explosive movement, even if it's just like simple kettlebell swings. But forcing your body to be under that type of stimulus is going to have a positive strength effect on your other movements for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The Carnivore one.
We got one over here. I'm working on a keto diet with Health.org that puts an emphasis on max 15 ounces of protein. Is that wise? What are your opinions? What? I'm working on a keto diet with Health.org. Have you heard of that, Greg? Health.org?
No.
I haven't heard of that either. That puts an emphasis on max 15 ounces of protein. Is that wise? Are they like clarifying, is it like 15 ounces of protein, like just pure protein isolate? Like, is that 15 ounces of protein in the form of a lean protein, like chicken or fish, or like fatty protein? That seems like a very vague recommendation, though, for sure. Stacy says for carnivore digestion. So she added, let me go back here. She added lipase to help with her digestion. Yeah, and some people may need to temporarily include like an ox bile salt or HCl to increase their stomach acid concentration. So yeah, there's a couple of tweaks that people can do to help from a digestive standpoint for sure. What did we miss over here?
I want to start lifting weights, but where to start and do correctly? Do you have any YouTube videos to watch?
Greg's honestly way better at posting exercise videos than I am. He's got like gym motivation every day, it seems.
Do you have a workout program on Deeper State? You don't do the fitness plans?
He does fitness coaching.
Yeah.
I think training coaching.
I built my own. I mean, I have my own. I just kind of do some stuff on Instagram. I don't have a YouTube channel or anything necessarily structured that way, but if people have questions on that kind of thing, they can always shoot a message.
Yeah. I think like with training programs, I mean, you can go into the weeds with training programming to the point where just like you're majoring in the minors. I mean, if people just kind of return back to basics, like you can get a lot done with just the basics. I mean, I think you and I both pretty much just incorporate the basics,
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you don't have to beat it to death. You can just get by with just pretty simplistic movements, and you're still going to have some results.
Yeah.
I'm on maintenance based on the TDEE. I think a need to increase fat to at least 80%, keeping protein at 0.8 grams of ideal weight. Thanks, keeps all.
Maintenance based on total daily energy expenditure. Just make sure you're getting enough. I mean, you can have an 80% fat ratio if you're taking in enough total calories so that you're consuming enough protein. Like for instance, since I eat 3,000 plus calories a day, I can eat 75 to 80% of my calories coming from fat. And with that high caloric intake, I'm still eating a pretty significant portion of protein. I'm sure the same is true with you as well, Craig. The problem is if you're not eating enough total calories, you're trying to do everything based off of a fat ratio percentage of your calories, then you may run the risk of not getting in enough protein because you're not taking in enough total calories for that to work out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so 0.8 grams of ideal weight. I mean, people have sometimes an interesting view of what they would like their ideal weight to be. But if you might need a little more protein and not as much fat too.
Here's another comment about health org called Verta. So yeah, I'm definitely familiar with Verta Health. I didn't know it was also called Health Org. They ask that folks eat a max of 15 ounces of protein. Yeah, I feel like there's.
I don't know what 15 ounces of protein means. Like, is it 15 ounces of meat? Because that's not going to all be protein.
Yeah, 15 ounces of ribeye steak is going to have significantly less protein than 15 ounces of tilapia, for instance.
But also, I would say, I think all of us probably eat more than 15 ounces of protein.
I mean, I eat 15 ounces in a meal.
Like for lunch, I had like half a pound of chicken, and so that's 8 ounces right there. And then you think about your eggs and things like that. Like I think we're all eating a little bit more than that. So I think it's wrong to put a blanket statement and say everyone should be eating 15 ounces of protein. Like Robert is going to need different amounts of protein than Greg. Greg's going to need different amount of protein than I am. So I think blanketing that on people is probably where the mess up's going to be. It might work for some people, but probably not for others because it's just not going to work out that well.
Thoughts on logbooks, speaking of strength stalls? Do you use a logbook, Greg? How do you track your lifts?
I kind of bounce in and out of different ways. I started with just a little notebook, little planner size notebook, and used to just jot everything down longhand. But I've been using an app called Strong lately, and it's become my go-to app. It tracks everything. You can get data information right out of that. You can see graphs and charts, your 1 rep max going up, going down. It keeps all of your stuff well organized. You can save routines as templates. You can pull those routines back up, and it'll automatically populate what your lifts were at the previous session. It's called Strong. It's been a pretty good one. I know there's a million of them out there. I've tried a few different ones, but Strong is the only one I've found, in my opinion, that worked well, even as a set rest timer and everything that's kind of all incorporated into it.
Can you take some screenshots of the different charts that you like using Strong for and send those to me? Because I've been playing around with different apps as well, and I haven't found one that I love, but I've heard good things about Strong, but I don't have enough data in Strong to see what it's capable of.
Do you pay monthly for that?
I don't. I started with the trial version. I think it was a one-time upgrade to buy the pro version. The pro version just unlocks. You can open up way more routines, so it only lets you customize maybe a couple routines in the trial one. So I've got an arm day and a push day and a pull day and a squat day and all these different days that are all stored in there. But yeah, I can send you some screenshots, some info.
Yeah, shoot that up to me for sure.
I I did try more electrolytes during workouts. Keeping those up during workouts seems to help, but just feeling exhausted. Yeah, electrolytes can help a ton.
And feel free to lean on a clean pre-workout on occasion if you need to as well.
And then also making sure that you're getting in proper nutrients. Like maybe you should incorporate a little bit of like a liver capsule or just liver in general, or maybe there's something that you're actually missing every day. Maybe you're getting in plenty of calories, but the actual nutrients you're getting in from your food might be not specifically on point. So you might be lacking a little bit of energy because maybe something isn't balanced as far as vitamins and minerals you're getting in.
I think Muscle Intelligence has several free downloads. Pretty sure I got one off of DSK. Everybody didn't cut you off there, Greg. What were you saying?
I just said and sleep. If you're feeling wet out at the gym, you might not be getting quite the amount of sleep that you need. 5 to 6 hours isn't enough for a lot of people. So definitely prioritize sleep.
Yeah,
good point. Yeah.
Totally. What percent of total calories then should fat be if not consuming high calories as you and Keto Greg? You see, that totally depends too. I mean, there's not really any set number. However, most people tend to operate pretty well in like a 1-to-1 ratio of protein grams to fat grams. If you're taking in a healthy amount of calories, and that's kind of like a good maintenance ratio for you. So that typically levels out to be about 68 to 70% of total calories coming from dietary fat.
But then also, are you in a cut right now? Is there a reason you're not in a maintenance or surplus? You said as high calories as Greg and Robert, and they're both in a building season right now. So they'll go down lower in calories, but is there a reason also that are you like cutting down right now, trying to lose body fat, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Yep.
I eat 1.1 kilograms of meat in one meal a day, and it's been working well, just fine for me. Haha.
Can't beat that. Jump Gypsy Mama joined. What's up, Jump Gypsy Mama? That's my family. I didn't get to see you when I was there. I heard at least 30 grams of protein macro per meal for muscle synthesis. Eat that within 2 hours after a workout. What's your thoughts on that?
Go ahead. Yeah, you go.
I think meal timing is not quite as important as we've been brought up to think. They always used to say you got to slam down that protein shake before you even leave the gym. You're going to lose your anabolic window. You got to eat quick. You're going to waste your workout. But I do think getting in an adequate amount of protein sometime after your workout is definitely critical. I don't know. They say 2 hours.
Yeah, which is a pretty
2 hours
healthy, window.
That's a good window. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to work out super hard and then fast for 2 days, but a couple hours, that's fine. I think that makes sense. 30 grams protein, that's a good chunk. You can go heavier probably.
Yeah, I agree. How to make gains on keto. Honestly, I would say the same way you would make gains on any diet. Eat in a caloric surplus, make sure you're getting enough protein, eat more food, work out hard, and then eat more food.
You got it.
Would you recommend... Yeah, eat to grow. Would you recommend volume training or high intensity training to gain muscle on keto? Both. I like doing both.
I use a NAC and milk thistle to help the liver with all of the fat.
I didn't mean to brush off that last question. You want to use enough intensity to stimulate muscle growth, and that's oftentimes you want to have volume being defined as the amount of weight you're lifting times the number of reps times the number of sets. And intensity is generally defined as, a rate of perceived exertion being higher than not. So if you have an RPE scale of 1 to 10 and 10 is the most intense possible, you're not going to be able to do that most intense lift for a ton of reps. So your volume may be a little bit lower. So the constant debate is it all about total volume or about total intensity? And what I personally like to do is kind of do a blend of both. I like to operate in the 8 to 12 rep range. Sometimes I go 5 to 6 on my heavier movements, and that winds up being an RPE of about 7 or 8. So as much volume as I can do with that level of intensity works pretty well for me. What do you think about that, Greg? That makes sense?
Yep, I totally agree. Usually I train muscle groups twice a week, and one of them will be more of a strength heavy, higher intensity lifting day, and the other time for that same muscle group is typically a higher rep range. Still intense, but maybe training to failure in like 15 plus reps. So one day is heavy and you're putting the strength to work, and the second day is volume, and you're really just getting the muscles to fire.
I agree.
Should you eat before workouts or working out fasted better? Go ahead, Greg.
That is going to be up to you, how you feel. Because me personally, some mornings I wake up and I fast all the way until 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but I can jam out one of the best workouts ever on a completely fasted, empty stomach right away in the morning. And some days I wake up and I don't quite feel like that's going to happen. So some days I do need to eat, some days I don't. I think it just kind of depends.
Yeah. Meal timing is only important when using carbs. Definitely much more important when using carbs, for sure.
Yeah.
In order to make gains on keto, you need to be in a caloric surplus. Eat at least 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, and then compete with fatty meats, avocado, nuts, etc. That was quite the statement.
That's a good general advice. Yeah. Problems with the keto diet is that appetite goes, and it's hard to eat calories and need to make gains.
I don't think that's true. I used to eat probably 1,500 to 1,600 calories a day when I was eating a carb-based diet, and now, well, I'm pregnant, but when I'm not pregnant, I am usually eating around 2,400, 2,500 calories and maintaining at that. So I think a lot of it is people fill up and fast a lot, but don't try to push eating more. They're just like, oh, I'm full, I'm not going to keep eating, rather than thinking about what's proper for me to be eating. Let's eat more than 1 meal a day. Let's, whatever it is, but it has become such a hype to fast or intermittent fast or whatever that people forget to push it past that level of, oh, I'm full, so I should stop eating.
Yeah. I think it depends. I prefer to train fasted, but I know that some people need to eat something before workout. So it depends. Try different approaches and see what works better for you. Yeah. Our own individual sustainability factor is key.
Hit my bottom of my questions over here.
Yep. Let's call that good on the Q&A. Where do people go to find you, Greg?
Instagram is probably the most best way to find me. KetoGreg80, KetoGreg80, and on DSK website as well.
Yes, he's a heck of a coach. Yeah. Definitely check him out on Deeper State Keto's coaching page. You're in good hands if you work with Greg.
So what are your coaching options? You have 1 month nutrition, 3 months of nutrition, and then there's something else?
There's a consult. Yeah.
And a consult.
You can do consultations, and you'll get a nice chat with me, and we'll figure out your macros, figure out what you want to do, if you want to grow, if you want to shrink, what your long-term goals are, all that kind of stuff. It's all customizable. Yep.
Love it.
I think we should end with the flex off, Greg. What do you think? You got your t-shirt on? Ooh, I don't know if I can beat that. Boom, look at that.
All right.
All right, look at that bicep keep popping. All right, Greg, well, thanks for jumping on here, brother. We'll be in touch for sure. Definitely send me those screenshots so I can check out that Strong app. And everybody that is not following Greg right now, definitely go follow Greg, because he's the man with the mustache. And he's got muscles. The mustache and muscles. We got to make that into a shirt, man. But see you, Greg. Right. See y'all. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Adios. See you, man.